on, everybody? Welcome back to the spin-off, another episode, of course. Today, everybody, I want to welcome my guest, the American Squirrelly Dan, Drew Harrison. How you doing today, Drew?
Good, man. How you doing?
Man, I'm hanging in there. It's a beautiful day in Nebraska. We're getting out of this cold weather. How is it where you're at?
I'm in good old Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I'm at the Carolina Comedy Club this weekend with my boy Sloan. It's you think beach, you think warm, but it is not at all. It's about 45, 50 here, maybe. So it's I thought I was in for a treat, but I'm glad I packed some sweatshirts.
Yeah, hey, 45, 50 around Nebraska this time of year, that's warm. So
right, I can imagine. I'm a Southern boy, true and true. If it's below 50, I'm asking what's going on.
Yeah, I saw that you're the featured act with William Sloan III this weekend.
Yeah,
and man, what's that like to be the featured act?
Oh, I love it, man. It's no pressure. You know what I mean? Like it's people are there and you can contribute to the show, but a lot of times I've learned over the years that if they love you, there's like a 25% chance they'll remember your name, and if they hate you, then they're not going to remember you anyway. So the feature has no pressure whatsoever, so I just get to go out after the host and do my time and hand it off to the headliners. Great.
And see, I got to tell you, what drew me to you right off the bat when I found you on Facebook was being named the American Squirrely Dan. I'm a huge Letterkenny fan.
Love that stuff,
and
man.
My guy, and then I saw you, I'm like, holy shit, the guy is the American Squirrely Dan.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I love that show, man. Probably 70% of the dialogue between me and my wife are just quoting that show back and forth to each other. We love it, man. And I just think it's just so well written. It added so much more to me when I found out Wayne and Dale are the writers.
Yes,
they wrote that, and that's just I love it so much.
Yeah, the guy that plays who is it? Shorey is played by the same guy that plays Wayne. And
yeah,
it is some of the most
trash talking.
Oh my God. Shorey on that show is one of the best trash talkers I've ever heard in my life.
When he gets going on Jonesy and Riley, I love
it. And that's funny you bring that up too, Jonesy and Riley. One of them is in that new show that just came on Disney Plus with the Mighty Ducks.
I saw like a screenshot of him. I was like, yes. Oh, okay, all right, good.
Yeah, apparently he plays a dickhead coach.
Perfect.
And it's hockey, so it seems like it's right up his alley.
Yeah, man, I loved it. I played hockey growing up, and all those characters hit home. I love
it. So all right, so playing hockey, I believe I saw you're a Chicago Blackhawks fan.
Indeed, and it's all because since probably about I'd say like 98 or so when I really got into it. But I mean, I remember just keeping up with like, did they win or lose? You know, I didn't really follow the team back then, but yeah, I was getting into hockey and I was playing peewee. We had roller hockey where I was from.
Yep.
And I was playing, like peewee hockey and on the concrete, and I happened to be on the Blackhawks. Like the rec team put me on the Blackhawks. I loved the logo. We wore all black, and like the rest of the team hated. I mean, the rest of the league hated us. We were like the goons of the Pee-wee hockey league. So I just loved it. And at the time, the Blackhawks kind of had a little bit of that reputation too. So I loved it. And then good for me, I picked the Blackhawks and they start winning these Stanley Cups. So of course that just drug me in even more.
Yeah, I'd say I'd take it, especially being a fan. So I mean, imagine being a Cubs fan and then finally getting that monkey off your back. So.
I can imagine. I'm a Braves fan, so hopefully I can get that monkey off my back before too long.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I used to be a Braves fan growing up. My just preteens and early teens. Man, Greg Maddux, guys like that. Oh my God,
that rotation, man.
Oh,
Glavine, Smoltzy.
Oh, all Hall of Famers all around. I mean, ridiculous. Yeah. So, all right, getting sort of off topic here, but that's why I like it. That's why it's called the spin-off. It's going to happen.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
So I also saw that you went to East Carolina University. You're a Pirate. And, man, I'll tell you what, I'm a college football fan, obviously, Nebraska right here, huge Husker fan. But, man, I watch East Carolina a lot during college football season, man. That is just a team you don't want to mess with.
They've had some good seasons. They've had some good players, especially when they had Hardy a few years ago. Like that was a dangerous offense, and I love Gardner Minshew. Haiti didn't get to play too much for ECU, but we've had some names come through, man. It's been fun. Like I went to school when oh man, what was his name? Was it Vontae Leach?
Oh
The
yeah.
fullback was there. So yeah, I donated. I don't really say that I went to East Carolina. I donated money to him for a year because going to school just wasn't on the agenda when I was in Greenville. But yeah, and once you drop out of East Carolina, it's hard to go somewhere else. You know what I mean? So they're like, "Ooh, you didn't make it there. No, don't come here."
Yeah, see what I remember about East Carolina, is it seems like almost every year in college football they've got Virginia Tech's number. It's hilarious when they take out the Hokies. I root for them every year when they play
Yeah, for
Tech.
sure.
So,
And I mean, they should be in the ACC by now. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So I love when they take out the ACC teams. It makes me feel good. Except for I'm a Tar Heel fan, so if they can leave the Tar Heels alone, I'm okay. I'm always conflicted when both of them play, but I would love to see them make it to the ACC one day.
With you being a Tar Heel fan, then you had to have been stoked when they hired Mac Brown.
Oh, of course. Like bringing him home. I wish he would have never left. Like I know he had to for, greener pastures in Texas and he won a national championship. But man, when he came home, I was like, all right, this is going to be fun to watch again.
Oh yeah. Everybody was a buzz. I mean, and look at what he's done, honestly. Yeah. North Carolina is going to be somebody to really contend with.
I'm looking forward to next year. Sam Howell's like an early pick for Heisman favorite. Like I'm stoked.
I can't blame you. Can't blame you one bit. You sound like us Husker fans, man. We're constantly looking forward to the next year. we've been in such a damn slump for so long.
Right. Well, I mean, now I got to hold my breath to see who they hire as the men's basketball coach. So I'm trying to focus on football right now and not cry to sleep every night because Roy Williams isn't there anymore.
Yeah, I saw you posted on Facebook after Roy decided to call it quits. You said, "Thanks, Coach. Dadgummit." I loved it. I love that you put in the dadgummit.
Yeah, man, it hurt. I know what he's saying. He takes losing very, very personal.
Yes.
And the last two seasons haven't been the greatest, so I get it. And I was reading some interesting articles recently about how they wouldn't be surprised if all these old coaches start dropping out like that because it's a whole new ball game. As a whole recruiting's completely different. Like everything has changed. Even the way they play college basketball has changed. So Roy realized it and he was like, I'm out of here. Like he said, it broke my heart. It brought me to tears. I'm not even scared to say that as a grown man. But he when he was like, I'm just not the right man for the job anymore. And it's crazy to think that a Hall of Fame coach might be right. He might not be the right man for the job anymore.
That takes a lot of balls to admit that for as long as he's been doing it too. So
right.
A lot of respect.
Oh yeah, man.
So, all right, we'll transition into your comedy career. So, all right, Mr. American Squirrelly Dan, what got you into comedy? What was the influence to begin with?
I was just a fan. I was a huge fan. Like I fell in love with stand-up specials.
Yes.
Like I would be that annoying friend that when we had an interesting house when I came back from East Carolina. I moved in with a good buddy of mine and he was a local DJ. And we turned our dining room into a bar. Okay. So like we had one rule that if you brought something to drink, you could drink whatever. And that we somehow stayed stocked up pretty good. We didn't have to put too much of our own money into it. And we just would have parties there Friday and Saturday nights of the week. We're kind of like the local frat house without being having to be attached to a college, so it was fun.
Hell yeah.
And I would always be the annoying friend who was like, hey, have you seen so-and-so's new special? Hey, I know y'all are having fun and drinking. Come sit down, watch this. And they would just all be like, God, Drew, shut up. And I started writing. I was like, I wonder if I could do this. I wonder if I could write jokes. And I would always crack my mom up. Like I was always like a quiet kid. Like I would say the things in my own head, like I wouldn't say them out loud, but I would crack myself up in my own head. And I would say these things to my mom, and I would get like, we would just be washing dishes in the kitchen, and she would start cracking up. And she's like, "Do you do this for anybody else?" I was like, "No." And she's like, you need to show people that you're funny." And I just started writing and writing. And I'm from Pinehurst, North Carolina, man. There's nothing as far as comedy goes. Like, if you don't play golf or you don't ride horses, good luck. So I was talking to my roommate, who was a DJ, and we were sitting at our favorite brewery in town, Rail House Brewing. And I was just like, yeah, because it had been like 6 months. I had like 6 months of material that I've been writing and just nowhere to try it. I didn't know how comedy worked. I didn't know how shows worked. Yeah. I didn't know how you went to open mics. I didn't know what open mics were. You know what I mean? Like, all I'd seen is a voice say, "Now here's so-and-so," and, you know, like all these comedy specials that I'd watched over the years. Like, I just thought that's what comedy was. The brewery owner who was bartending that day overheard me talking about, like, I just don't know what to do. And he's like, "Just do it here." And I was like, "Just what?" And he's like, "Just what?" And of course, you know, one friend gets an idea and your other friends jump on it. Like, my roommate was like, "I got microphones, I got speakers."
Oh shit.
And so I was like, okay. You know, you can't say no at that point, because now you know, in your own head, you could put it off for so long because you didn't have the means, but here your friends are giving you the means. And I was like, all right, let's do it. And I just had like 85 of my closest like friends and family and just people in the town. We just made a Facebook event. Like, we didn't do flyers, like nothing. Like, we just made a Facebook event, but it's such a small town that everybody I'd ever come in contact with ever came out to it.
Oh my God.
And they were super supportive. Like, don't get me wrong, it was not, you know, an HBO special by any means. I just word vomited the 6 months of writing, and I did 22 minutes my first time out.
Wow.
And just used none of it after that. Like, it felt good to get out, but I mean, I didn't have any cadence. I didn't have any, you know, like zip on the punchlines. You know, I just said what I wanted to say, and they were super supportive. And I didn't even know my roommate had recorded it, and it's still up on his YouTube page.
Really? What's the YouTube page?
If you just do Drew Harrison Railhouse Brewing, it'll pop up.
All right.
It's my first time out, and I watched it years ago, and oof, it was something.
Yeah, it's one of those things where when I started doing this, I had to go back and watch the very first one just to, kind of see how it is, man. But
yeah.
I hear what you're saying. It's kind of cringy to watch yourself doing
for
something.
Sure.
Because
when you're not better at it.
Yeah, you think to yourself, "Oh my God, this is terrible. Why am I going to do this?"
Right.
So yeah,
but it bit me that night. It bit me. Like, those I don't care if they were, you know, just gracious laughs, or those people were just happy to be doing anything, you know what I mean? But I got those chuckles and those laughs, and it was like it was injected in my veins at that point.
So then where did the nickname the American Squirrelly Dan come from? I gotta hear this.
Oh no, it's just I love that show so much, so I just put it like. There's a thing like,
then.
Yeah, I moved to Nashville, and I started noticing a lot of the comics around here have like funnier Twitter names. Like, I just had Drew Harrison on there for the longest time, and I was talking to a buddy, and his Twitter numbers were up, and I was like, "What'd you do to get your Twitter numbers up?" He's like, "I just changed my name to some weird nickname, like comedy related." And I was like, say no more.
Yeah,
I'll do that. And I mean, I haven't seen the same return in numbers, but it's fun to me, you know?
Yeah. And talking about YouTube, you've got your own channel on there, and it's Drew Harrison TV. So
yeah, man,
what made you decide to want to jump into the YouTube scene?
Well, you know, I mean, you always are told don't miss out on an opportunity, you know what I mean? And I you know, I always had the YouTube channel, like, just messing around bored one day. I created it, you know, as a place to just keep, because I mean, you have to submit to a lot of festivals, and, you know, bookers want to see your stuff. So you got to have a quick link to be able to send to them. So I always had, you know, like stand-up clips just hanging out on a YouTube page that I would just send to people, and I wouldn't really care about, you know, like trying to like get it out there to the masses. And then, you know, the shutdown happened. And I really like, I had the drive-through review show. That was an idea, but that was just because I didn't really have like a comedy show to barter with people. So I would have them as guests on my drive-through review show. Like I was like, hey, like thanks for booking me. I appreciate you. I don't have a show, but please come do this YouTube thing with me, and so I had that, and then I had some stand-up clips, and then I had a couple of sketches on there, but I really wasn't, actively trying to build it. And then this quarantine happened, and I started doing the football podcast, with my childhood friend Sean. And I really, we sat down and really pushed the drive-through review show. And I chopped up a couple more of old stand-up clips and put those on TikTok, try to build up TikTok, so if there was no stages, so I was like, I got to do something or I'm going to go crazy.
Oh, hell yeah. Absolutely. That's what I was going to ask you is during the quarantine, did it seem like being as young as you are and being a comedian, did it seem like that was a much easier transition to do things online, do things maybe live, and then the YouTube? Did it seem to come easier to you?
I definitely had to work at, like, I taught myself Final Cut Pro during all this, so I could edit. Shout out to YouTube for a lot of educational videos on that front.
Yes.
And I took this quarantine with no shows to go back to school. So I'm going back to school for like graphic design, video editing, like that kind of stuff. And I'm best money I've spent towards my education, and that's saying a lot because I have a lot of years of community college with nothing to show for it. It was a little rough handing over my transcripts to my advisor, and him being like, "You've been going to school for a while now." I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "No degrees?" I was like, "Nah."
Hey, even Tommy Boy said a lot of people go to college for 7 years.
Yeah. Well, I'm shooting for a doctorate in community studies then, because I've been going for quite some time. I think I turned over a transcript with like 165 credit hours or something like that to my new school. They're like, "Yeah, you could use like 9 of those." I was like, "That's fair."
So, and see, I was talking with comedian JJ Whitehead a while back. He was one of the first guests I had on here. I asked him the same thing about being in the quarantine. Was it easier to do, online stuff? He said he hates doing stuff online because he would much rather be in front of a crowd. Now,
oh, no doubt.
Exactly. That's what I was about to ask. Do you find the rush of being in front of a crowd just that much of a draw that you're not going to get out of this anytime soon?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, I mean, because you couldn't help but at some point. I mean, I don't care what any comedian says. You couldn't help at some point during all this coming to grips with, like, you know what? I'm never gonna do comedy again. It's just I'm not like that. That thought had to go through everybody's head. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At least once, whether it was you were just messing around or not, but that thought went through your head, and you're like, nah, I love it way too much. Like, the shows this week are some of the first I've had, in a long time. And just like audiences are still a little gun shy, what I mean? Like, I've definitely had some tighter audiences, and they're all spaced out, because you're trying to be as safe as possible. I definitely believe laughs build upon laughs. And when you're spread out, you don't get as many, but even those sparse chuckles, and sometimes the light hits somebody's face and you can see they're smiling. They might not be laughing, but they're smiling and having a good time. You know what I mean? So I think audiences have to learn how to laugh again.
Yes.
But as soon as I got those laughs, I felt it in my veins again. I was like, okay, I'm re-energized. I'm ready to go. Let's book these shows. I got my second. I'm vaccinated. I'm ready to do this. Let's go.
So good. You got your vaccination done then?
Yeah.
Both shots.
Both shots.
Man, how was the aftermath? Was it hell like they say it is?
Your arm hurts.
Okay. That I can handle.
Yeah. And I was tired, but I just went to sleep. Just give yourself, a little extra couple hours of sleep. You know what I mean? Like, I'm in no way, shape, or form the healthiest person in the world. You know what I mean? So I think if I took it on the chin, I think most people will do all right with it.
Good deal. Well, hey, at least you got it done. A lot of people are doing it right now. Thank God.
I just want to get back to normal, man. Like, like I just want to I want to do my part to get back to normal. I hate that everything has to be so political nowadays. Like, just turn that off for a second and just help us get back to normal. You know what I mean? It's not a Republican thing. It's not a Democrat thing. Just
It's a
help
health
us get back
thing.
to normal.
It's health.
Exactly. And I
Just
hate that everything is one side or the other nowadays. And it's really just as a, like I'm 35, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like I'm the target that both those parties go after, because, I'm the
yeah.
voter of the future. And it's like your mom and dad that are just yet constantly yelling at each other and not doing anything for your well-being, and then being like, all right, we're getting divorced, who you coming with? I'm like, nobody.
I'm going.
Like, I
I'm
hate
going with the
both of them.
state.
Yeah, like, I hate all of you. I'm gonna roll the dice out there. I'm gonna see what else is out there.
Yeah, and see, that's what I saw in your bio on Facebook too, and it said politics. It just says, "I hate them all."
Hate them all. Hate them
So
all.
I loved it. I loved it. That was a perfect answer for that one.
Yeah, man. It's just
So
too much nowadays.
with doing stand up, I would think one of the hardest things you got to deal with is a heckler.
Yeah.
Now, so if you're not on your game that night, if you're not pinpoint accuracy in the head, can hecklers really get to you? Can they stop a show?
Oh, for sure. And if you go too hard at a heckler, that can stop a show too. You know what I mean? Like, you got to walk, you got to tiptoe that line of being fun. Because luckily, I mean, knock on wood, of course, I'm going to say this and I'm going to have 3 tonight, but I haven't had too many hecklers. You know what I mean? Like, my
Good.
hecklers are the drunk, because I don't do controversial stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like a lot of hecklers get their buttons pushed. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I'm not a button pusher.
Good.
And luckily, the drunk hecklers I have to deal with are the drunk old, white ladies, that are just like, I like had four shots before they even came out of the show, and they downed a whole bottle of wine before I got up there. You know what I mean? So, like,
Binging
luckily
Real
I've just,
Housewives with some wine.
yeah, man. So you usually can diffuse them pretty quick, and they usually have somebody at the table or with them that's like, shut up, just shut up.
Yeah. So with your comedy, then, do you mostly do clean, like dry bar comedy, or do you mix in, a lot of the cursing? Or
Nah, I'm fairly clean. As far as a booker's eyes, and I've had to deal with this a little bit, is my knock on me is I don't really cuss, but I have a lot of weed jokes.
so what?
And we're in 2021, and you would think it wouldn't matter, but still, like, there's been clubs that have sent me back and been like, yeah, no, fun stuff, but you talk about drugs too much, so we're gonna
Wow.
pass. It's still weird being 2021. You still got such a stigma with that. And that's why I'm not going to change. You know what I mean? I'm not going to
No,
drop
never
that from
do.
my act, because it's who I am, and I'm an advocate for it. And I think people need to just relax. It ruins a lot less lives than alcohol does. And
Oh, by
alcohol's,
far.
turn the other cheek.
Yep. Yeah, and see that I don't understand that one bit. Like you said, it's 2021. It's so socially acceptable anymore. It's talked about on regular cable sitcoms, ones that are meant for families. It's talked about in a funny way. So these are clubs that I'm going to tell you right now. Once your career really starts to take off, they're going to be
They're not going
calling
to
your
care.
ass. They're going to call your ass back and be like, "Okay, will you come here now?"
Yeah,
That's
right.
that's when you have the opportunity to be like, you know what? No, I'm
That's
good.
when, or I can charge what I want to charge.
Exactly. Yeah, you can go the complete other way and get whatever
Yeah.
you want out of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, nothing wrong with that. And as far as clean comedy goes, it can be just as fun as any of the vulgar stuff. Like,
Yeah, man.
don't get me wrong, I like guys like Jim Jeffries, Bill
Yeah.
Burr.
I think there's places for both. It's like thin crust and original crust pizza. You know what I mean? Like, there's no wrong answer here.
No,
It's just
no.
where you fit in,
Yeah. So, and with clean comedy, man, I gotta say, I love it, and especially when somebody like you has a Southern accent, it makes those things just a little bit funnier. And I talked about
Yeah.
this with Conan, comedian who's from Switzerland. That accent, and guys from the South, you guys just make things more funny. So have you found it
Yeah.
maybe just a tad bit easier in comedy with the accent?
I think I get away with a little bit more. You know what I mean? Like, we can turn words that some people can't get away with into being like, okay, he's just being funny. That's fine. Like, I go up and I start. I'm a former baseball player, so I have those superstitions. So I always start my set off with, I just grab the microphone and oh, hey guys, you know, and I just feel like that just diffuses everybody immediately. They're like, oh, we're not going to talk about anything serious tonight. He can say what he wants. It's great.
Yeah, and the fact that you like you said, you steer away from the controversial stuff.
Yeah,
No
man.
politics, no religion. To
Nah.
hell with that. And I don't blame
Yeah.
you. Those are things that you just don't talk about in workplaces.
Nah.
So
I've seen too many awkward shows. I'm good on that. I don't want that.
yeah, I was looking up some of the movies you listed that are some of your favorites, man. This was interesting. All right, Toy Story 2.
Love it.
I'm a fan myself. I love all
Love
of
it.
them. I'm a big
Yeah, man.
Pixar fan.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to admit that as almost 39-year-old man. I don't care.
Love it, man. Love it.
And Me, Myself, and Irene. Now that's Jim Carrey. That might be him at his absolute best.
Yeah.
So what is it about it's two contrasting movies styles?
I just love feel good movies. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I know me, myself, and Irene has some ups and downs, but I mean, you laugh at them. You know what I mean? So like,
Yeah.
because I'll be the first one to tell you, I hate Disney movies. I hate them with a passion. I think they're too sad. I don't understand why we got stuck in this whole movies have to be sad in points. You know what I mean?
Bambi?
Like I get it. It makes the ending that a little bit better, but what if you just kept everybody happy throughout? You know what I
why do
mean?
you have
Like,
to go through a trauma to get to the happiness?
right. Like, I think that's why I'm not even gonna lie to you, man. I gravitate more towards like romantic comedies than anything. You know what I
There's
mean?
nothing
Because
wrong with that.
you know, even at the point when it dips and it gets a little sad and they go their separate ways, you know they're gonna win. You know he's gonna win her back before it's over. You know what I mean? So I just love. I don't like. There's enough. I could turn on the news if I wanted to be upset. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like, I don't. Why am I going to watch a movie that's just sad for no reason? I just feel like Disney movie. I grew up in a single parent family. You know, that always constantly worried if something was going to happen to my mom, what would happen to me? You know,
Yeah.
and I don't need to watch a movie about every parent dying ever. You know, like, and I feel like that's every kid's movie out there.
Yeah, I remember Old Yeller as a kid.
Oh,
What
like, why
the
you got to
hell?
put your dog down? Like,
Yeah, that's how
why
you end
can't
the
he
movie?
why can't he just save the kid and everyone go home happy? I don't why. What?
I know you don't need Old Yeller when you got Cujo. It was unnecessary.
I hate it, man. I hate that they had to be, and you know they get thrown in our faces. You know what I mean? Like, my mom was just trying to be a good parent. Everyone said, watch Disney, show them Disney movies, show them Disney movies. I think I remember being like 5 or 6 and just asking my mom, like, why do I have to watch these sad movies?
Yeah. It's giving me nightmares. I don't like it.
Yeah. Like, I'm done. And at least Toy Story doesn't get too sad. You know what I mean? So that's why I love the Pixar and the Toy Story stuff.
Oh,
don't
absolutely.
Get too out there, you know?
Now with your TV shows, kind of a different story. You're a fan of Sons of Anarchy, which I am too. Huge fan.
Yeah.
All the way through.
Perfect series finale. The best series finale ever.
You talk about crying during a finale. But
it tied everything up so nicely.
And just a beautiful bow.
Loved it.
Oh, man. And Big Bang Theory. I'm a huge fan of that myself.
I think I like that a lot out of spite. You know what I mean? Like, because I don't think there's anything wrong with the show, and it's just become so trendy now to just shit all over that show for no reason. So I think I just planted my flag in it. Like, I don't care what you say. I like Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened to me. I stayed away from it because it was so popular. I was like, I don't think it's funny. And then I screwed up and I watched like this montage of Sheldon Cooper on YouTube, and it was over.
Yeah, because I mean, the laugh track. Everyone just loves to hate on the laugh track, but I know. But it's a sitcom. It is what it is.
It helps.
But my wife hated it. My wife was like, "You watch Big Bang Theory," and then we watched like the final season together.
Oh.
And like 3 episodes in, she's like,
damn it.
All right, it's not that
bad. Yeah, that finale episode for Big Bang, another tearjerker.
I tied everything together and perfectly again.
And one other one among quite a hell of a list you had for TV shows. But another one that I've watched from beginning to as continuing is American Horror Story.
Yeah, it lost me a little bit the last few seasons. Not gonna lie. Yeah, those first few seasons, I loved it. Like the Murder House,
Yes.
the Psych Ward,
Oh.
the Covenant, like those are my favorites. And then I need to go back and binge watch the other ones, but
Yeah.
the Carnival one lost me a little bit.
Freak show, huh?
Yeah, wasn't
Okay.
and I think it was the weird people that like the characters that they made up. You know, like carnivals have always just freaked me out.
Oh, I
Period.
hear
You
you.
know what I mean? So like, I mean, it's perfect for that show. That's what they're trying to do on the show. You know, but
They
it
gave
got
you the
me.
right vibe. They gave you the exact vibe they were looking
Yeah.
for. I will tell you, as somebody that's seen them all, you've got to go back and watch them because,
Okay. Yeah.
man, they're amazing.
It's on the list for sure.
Oh,
I mean, we got nothing but time on our hands these days.
exactly.
You know what I mean? So
exactly.
we've went back and watched so many shows we watched Scrubs from start to finish.
Yes.
Do you remember the 90s show Wings with the two brother pirates?
Yes, pilots? I do.
We went back and watched that from start to finish. It is a great show, man.
Who was the mechanic?
Show.
Was the mechanic
Lowell? But I can't think of his real name.
the actor's name.
Yeah, but he went on and he never did comedy again, and he was so good at it.
Yes, he's been in numerous movies. He was in All About
James Hayden Church.
There you go, James Hayden
or
Church.
Thomas Hayden.
Thomas Hayden Church. I think it was All About Steve with Sandra Bullock. He was a supporting role in that, but unbelievably funny.
Yeah,
unbelievably fun. And there you go. Like you said, there's a rom-com movie right there.
I love it.
I've watched that with my wife. It is an amazing movie.
Yeah.
So what do you got going on now? Now that things are starting to finally open up again, you guys are finally able to get out there, do new material, get in front of an audience. What do you got coming up this year?
I don't know, man. Like it's still just so new that you know, we're kind of booking month to month right now. You know, like I think we're all a little hesitant that it's going to get shut down again. You know what I mean? Like it's like you've been in seclusion for a year and they finally open the door and you're kind of walking out looking through the sun. Like, is it safe? I don't know. You know, so I had this nice little run here at the beginning of April. I was in Charleston and then I'm in Myrtle Beach. Now I'm in Myrtle Beach and I got a couple spots popping up in Nashville the next few weeks. But after that, we got to kind of see, you know, I got to get back in my flow of emailing bookers and hitting people up to be on their shows. And I'm taking it a little run at a time almost.
Yeah. And see, that's what my guest last week, Eric Helger, was talking about. He said it's kind of a pain in the ass to send out, you know, tapes to festivals.
Yeah, man.
I never even imagined or thought about how much really went into what you guys have to do to prepare for a gig, and not just prepare for a gig, but get it
in the first place. Yeah, you got to be your own marketing department. You know,
that's crazy.
Like, you got to be your secretary and your IT guy and your editor and, you know, all of it. You know what I mean?
Be your promoter, everything.
Yeah, I would love to be at a point where I can pay somebody to do this.
Oh
for sure.
My God, wouldn't it be nice?
Like I can't imagine, you know, the comics that get to the point where they can have a team for this. I'm sure it's 5,000 pounds off your shoulder. Like, don't get me wrong, I love, you know, creating the content and putting it on social media and stuff like that. But I agree with them completely. The emailing and the messaging, and I hate being a grown person and asking another grown person, but hey, can I please get a spot? You know, like it sucks and I hate it so much, but it's the nature of the beast.
It's kind of how I feel, you know, having to get a hold of people for this.
Yeah, you love it, and when you're doing it, it's fantastic. But the build up to it, you're like,
oh my God, yeah, just messaging people over and over, and then you feel like you're badgering them almost.
Yeah,
it
sucks.
You don't want to feel that way.
Exactly, but I mean, it's especially if you keep booking comics, we all understand.
Oh yeah, no, see, and that's what I'm really gravitating toward, and I've noticed that is booking comics for the show, because I've loved stand-up comedy my entire life. I grew up watching, I hate to drop this name right now, but Bill Cosby himself.
Yeah.
But Eddie Murphy,
a lot of people did that.
Yeah, things like that. Growing up, I watched a lot of John Candy movies. So comedy to me is in my blood. I just suck at it. So I was never going to be the one to go on stage. I tried it once and it was absolutely the worst feeling ever.
No. Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those art forms that when it goes bad, it goes bad.
And when it goes bad for an amateur night, I'm going to tell you right now, you give up.
I can't do it, man. It's so funny to me, the comics that love watching it, like they love the cringe-worthy, like the struggle. I have to get out of the room. I have to leave. I'm like, I can't be here right now.
Oh, my wife watches reality shows, and when they start to get in scuffles or arguments, I'm like, oh my God, I don't even
like
watch this.
No, I'm the same way. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be.
Yeah, I'm the exact same way. When I see a comic bombing, I'm just, during a roast is the worst.
Oh God.
You see somebody just horribly bomb during a roast, and it just hurts. You see it in their face, like, oh shit, is this ever gonna end?
Yeah, they're like,
they want to,
because then you doubt everything else that's on that paper. You're like, well, they're gonna hate that.
Just time to move on.
Yeah, man.
So is it there right there? Is that something you've ever thought about or ever been asked to do yet as a roast for anybody?
Yeah, I've done quite a. Wilmington loved it when I came up in Wilmington, North Carolina, and that was their favorite thing. Whenever someone was getting married or moving to a different scene, you gotta have a roast. So yeah, I actually got roasted for my bachelor party.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, so it was nice. There's a picture up on Facebook of it. They got me a sex on the beach, so I'm holding my fancy drink, and they're just going at it. And they got comics and non-comics, and it was great. And luckily, they gave me like a 2-hour heads up, so I was able to come up with a few rebuttals. So I got my retribution a little bit.
And see, with your conventional roast that you see on Comedy Central, it's vulgar as hell. And don't get me wrong, I love that type of comedy, like Tammy Pescatelli, comics like that. Amazing. Yeah, but did you find it hard to do a roast with you being more of a clean type comedy, or was it just as easy?
I turned that off on the roast.
Oh man, sure. That's beautiful.
I
just said to hell with it.
I'll be as ruthless as you're gonna be. You know what I mean? Like I don't get offended, but if you hit me pretty hard, I'm gonna come back at you pretty hard. Well, so I had medium roasts, and then I had like harder roasts. So depending on what they gave me is what I went with. So it was fun.
So it's kind of a rule of thumb in comedy. You got to be able to take a punch and then also give one.
Because if you, that's the I was talking about how featuring was so nice. That's the downfall. If you mess up or you say some weird things, best believe that headliner's coming after you to bring the crowd back around. Yeah, they will, and rightfully so. They will throw you under that crowd bus to get the show back on the road. And I mean, that's the price you pay for derailing the energy of a room. Like and headliners know if you're throwing your best stuff at the crowd and it's just the crowd. But then they also know if you did some dumb things to derail that show, you're going to answer for him during his set, or his or her set. So it's unspoken rule in comedy is we're gonna joke with each other. It's gonna happen.
So have you had the privilege yet of working with anybody in stand-up that you've kind of maybe were like, oh shit, very nice to meet you, kind of starstruck? Has that happened yet?
I've had some bigger names, and
can you drop the names?
Yeah, I got to open for. I met Todd Barry. That was really fun. He came down to Dead Crow. I mean, I feel like it's his persona. He's kind of standoffish and just like, and I mean, he's true to form. You know what I mean? Like he is as advertised. So nothing wrong there. I opened for Jeremy Piven. Ari for Entourage. No way. He's doing comedy now.
That dude's hilarious.
Yeah, he did a lot of stories. And
I bet he's got a million of them.
Oh, I'm sure. So yeah, I got to open for him. So it was pretty cool. Just being an Entourage fan and sitting beside him in the green room, being like, "You're Jeremy Piven." And I was a huge PCU fan.
Like, I was just about to bring that up, man. I'm so glad you did.
It even came up in conversation. I was like, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. Like Entourage and all that's cool, but I love PCU. And he's like, I don't get that a lot. I was like, it's my favorite movie you've done.
David Spade's in there.
It's fantastic, man. I
I
love
forget, Jon Favreau.
Favreau. Yeah.
Favreau's in there, and he plays a
crushed it, man.
stoner that.
Yeah, man. I related hard. My college years, I would have fit right in at PCU for sure.
Oh, I hear you. That's been my college of choice.
Yeah, I definitely am jealous that wasn't an option for me.
So, any plans? You said that there's not a whole lot planned out for the year so far, but say everything starts to really open up. How about we get you to come here to Omaha, Nebraska, maybe?
I would love it, man. I would even, love to do that, comedy at night and go check out the Baseball Hall of Fame too while I was there.
Oh,
or not, I mean, not the Hall of Fame, but the World Series, the College World Series.
College World Series.
Love to go check. I'm a huge fan of that. But yeah, I would love to do that. I would love to come to Omaha. I've never been to Nebraska, so I'd love to knock that off the list.
Yeah, well, it was one you maybe put last on the list to knock off, but I hear you. I appreciate that. Yeah, well, maybe we'll talk to the Funny Bone here in Omaha. See get you going, man.
Sounds good.
I would love to see you here in Omaha, and I know.
Yeah, man.
I know once people see this, they're gonna want to see you too. They're gonna check out your stuff on YouTube. At least they damn well better. I mean, come on, guys, give the guy a bone here.
Been working hard.
Exactly, the man's working hard. Help him out. So, all right, Drew, I'm going to close it out here. This is where I'm going to turn it over to you, sir. Let everybody know where they can find you on social media. We've already talked about not a whole lot planned out yet, but anything you may have planned out in the coming weeks.
Got some things in the works, so definitely for sure. And
then additionally, if you're involved in any organizations or charities you'd like to plug, this is your time, sir. You go right ahead.
Thank you, man. Yeah. First and foremost, you can check out everything I've done on drewharrisoncomedy.com. It's got links to all of my social medias on Facebook, Instagram at Laugh with Harrison, Twitter at Harrison_comedy. You can also search American Squirrelly Dan. That'll pop up. I got some things in the works. I'm definitely going to hit the road hard the rest of this year. Going to do another run through the Carolinas in the summertime, trying to hit up Florida a little bit too. And I'd love to come out, Nebraska. I got family in Kansas. Love to check that out. I'm not really associated with them, but if you got a couple extra bucks laying around, Nourish NC out of Wilmington, North Carolina is my favorite charity of choice. They make sure, kids that don't necessarily have the means to be fed year round, once they're out of school for the summer, they make sure that they're continuing to get those school meals that those kids desperately rely on. So definitely look into them and check them out. If you got a couple, if you're like, oh, you know what, I want to donate to a good cause today, just knock that out for them.
And they better. I mean, that is a good cause. That's Drew. That's awesome. That's an amazing cause to plug and be a part of, man. So kudos to you for that. That's amazing. So Drew Harrison, the American Squirrelly Dan, I have got to thank you so much for joining me today,
this was a blast, dude. Thank you so much.
Man, I'm so glad we got to do this. I hope to have you on again. I know
let me know when I'm back in the rotation for sure.
Oh, absolutely. There's going to come a time where I'm going to have about 3 or 4 comedians I've had on the show come together.
Oh,
maybe I'll figure out how to do something live and we'll just broadcast it and see what happens.
Sounds great, man. Nice little round table.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, I guess this is where I do my sign off. And you know what? I'm going to shorten it up. I'm tired of it being so long-winded. So, guys, you know the drill. YouTube, my name. I've tried to help you out with searching for the spinoff, but the algorithm's not there yet. So you got to search my name, Brian Knutson. You'll find me on Facebook at the same and at Twitter at Knutson_Brian. The Scarlet and the Cream was where the audio will be at. I will have this up for everybody to watch on YouTube. So for this at the spinoff on this episode, I need to thank my guest, Drew Harrison, the American Squirrelly Dan. I need to thank the Killigans for supplying my intro music. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. So for Drew, the Killigans, the spinoff, and everybody watching, we will see you again on the next episode. Everybody take care. All right.